And how do you do again? Having some issues with my camera here, so I hope this is working right. So, hey, I'm going to do a tale of two reds today. I have the Lobster Hoppy Red Ale. Does not call itself an IPA, calls itself a Hoppy Red. It is 5.5%. 50 IBUs. Let me pour it for you. Oh, that pours very nice, as you can see. Very beautiful, kind of deep amber. And I also have an Odell's Runoff Red IPA. It does call itself an IPA. It's 6.5%. A little more alcohol going on. 50 IBU. Same on the IBU. I'll pour a little bit of both. They have very similar colors, which is why I'm using a different glass, because I didn't want to get them confused. Colors are very similar. Although now that I'm looking at them there, the Odell's maybe slightly deeper amber, a little darker maybe. The aromas are very different though. So the differences are very apparent in the aroma, and I'm going to burp, darn it. Oh, there we go. Excuse me. Anyway, aromas are very different. Both have very earthy aromas. The Hop Lobster is actually maybe a little sharper on the nose. It's very, very earthy, again, very grassy on the Hop Lobster. There's certainly citrus and pine, although the citrus is bigger than the pine on the nose. Although there's grapefruit and some maybe Meyer lemon for sure. While on the Runoff Red, the most apparent aroma is the pine, but you do have all those other aspects as well. On the palate, the Hop Lobster, I love this beer. It is very crisp and clean. It just finishes beautifully. You do get a little bit of pine. You get some pine. You get some citrus. That lemon is just really beautiful right in the finish. You've got some nice caramel on the malts, a touch of brown sugar. Both have very similar flavors, although the malt on this, at 6.5%, the malt is a little more apparent on the Runoff. Little deeper in the caramel and toffee for sure. But the flavors are similar. It's just how they're put together is a little different. Whereas on the Hop Lobster, which is a little bit smaller ABV, it does leave you, it does have more of a satisfying, more of a refreshing feel than a satisfying one. The malts are nice in here, but they're not big and bold like the Runoff. They're not quite as bold. I'm not saying that's worse, because it depends on what you want at that moment. This really is a beautiful spring beer because, it gives you more flavor than a typical IPA on the malt end of the spectrum, without being overwhelming. But the hops in this are just gorgeous. The grapefruit, the pine, the lemon, everything comes together beautifully, leaving a very crisp, clean finish. Well, this one finishes nicely as well. That was an interesting finish too. The pine is much bigger. And the malt, it does feel a little fuller bodied on the mouthfeel. It just does. They are the same kind of beers. You've got a 5.5% Hoppy Red and a 6.5% Red IPA. To be honest with you, the Hop Lobster from Springfield Brewing Company, by anybody else besides them, would have gone with the commercial label IPA. I applaud them for just saying Hoppy Red. It's a Hoppy Red, it is what it is. But anybody else would call this an IPA because it is very hoppy. It is hop forward. There is just enough malt here to give it a little bit of balance, give it some nice character. It's just a beautiful beer. One beer isn't better than the other, so I really hate when people do that. Well, that's better. Not one is better. It depends on what you you want it. Both are going to be great at different times. A colder day, this would be better. You know, a 45, 50 spring day, this one's going to be better. It's going to depend on what you're looking for at that moment. Both are great beers, and I want you to look for both of them. Springfield Brewing Company, only available here in Springfield, as far as I know, but if you can ever get this beer, it's just freaking outstanding. It is one of the best of its style. There are very few hoppy reds or red IPAs as good as this one. This is solid as well. The Odell Red IPA, it is put together nicely. There's a lot of flavors going on. Both styles are just beautiful, man. Just beautiful.